and welcome to my first video. So one of the suggestions I had in my hello and welcome video was that I would show you some things about modifying Nerf guns. Now, I did say I had done some internal modding, but that's not the main thing I'm going to be doing with this. It's going to be external, so what your gun looks like. Now, a couple of days ago, before I decided I was going to start my channel, I had my friend over and he started helping me with this. So what we did was we took the first gun we were going to work with, and we took all the segments for it. Well, we took them apart first, but we took all the segments, and if you can see, we sanded them. So it's nowhere near as shiny as it was. It's very matte. You can tell that this bit, because it's still shiny, is the bit that we've not sanded yet. We've not done this bit either. That bit still needs doing, but that bit needs to stay orange, because there's rules. You've got to have at least one part still orange to be able to use it in outdoor Nerf fights. But when it comes to the indoor Nerf fights in the UK, you're allowed to use them with them completely painted. Now, in the States, I believe you've got to have a piece orange anyway, whether it's indoor or outdoor. But I'm not sure about that, so I suggest you check your rules and regulations on those things before you go and paint the whole of your Nerf gun one colour, or whatever colour you want it. So the first one that I did is my Modulus Recon Mark II. So as you can see, most of the colour from where it was painted originally is gone, so there's loads of white on the handle. Unfortunately, we couldn't get into these bits, so for the most part it's still grey in there, and unfortunately not scored either. We did have to take it apart. This is my only internally modified Nerf gun. This has a 5 kilogram spring in instead of a 1.5, which is what they normally come with. So that's my Maverick, my Recon, Modulus Recon Mark II. Now with that, I got myself a couple of extra pieces. So I got myself this stock, which we've done most of, but there's a couple of pieces that we still need to sand. So we've got that bit, that bit, that bit, and that bit. Now for this one, this section here is what's going to stay orange, because of the fact that's where it fires from. It's better to keep the bit that you're going, well, I feel it doesn't, I don't think it specifically has to be that area, but I think it's better to keep the area where the dart's going to come from, the bit that's going to be orange. So we're going to put that orange as well. So this has been taken apart and put back together, and it's got a simple jolt in the handle that goes down like that. Now when you're doing your sanding with your Nerf guns, you've got to go through a couple of different stages of doing the sanding, and you start, the way my friend did it with me was 60 grit sandpaper. This bit's a bit dead because it's a bit I was using. Then we go to 100 grit, as you can see. Oh wait, that's another piece of 60. 100 grit, as you can see, that one's rather dead as well because I've been using it. And then you finish on 150. Now we found, for the most part, we only needed to do the 60 and 100. There was a couple places where we needed to do the extra 150, but for the most part we didn't. You can tell your Nerf gun's finished being sanded when you start getting the chalky sort of dust, and it's a very smooth texture. Now the only other part of this Nerf gun that I personally have, it's not really part of the gun itself, is this. Now this is the arm from my first piece of Nerf weaponry. It is from the Nerf bow, the Rebel line, called Secrets and Spies. It's from the Agent's bow, and they were the first ones that used proper arrows. So these are my projectiles when I use my bow. So yes, that's the last part, and that's been sanded as well. So for my guns, I'm having a blanket sort of look to them. So we're going to start with a white base coat. So all the paints I'm using are from Citadel because they're just the easiest thing I can get my hands on. So this is white model paint. It just, you spray it on, and I'll show you what it looks like once I've done it. I'll come back to this and show you what I've gotten to do. And then that's my base coat, and then on top of that, if I can just get it, I'm going to take a design that I've made. So I'm hoping that some of you will have heard of Tales of Symphonia. So Tales of Symphonia is a game which I quite enjoy. Not the best at playing, it's a console game. I don't know whether you can get it online or anything like that. I don't have a clue. And I took the two patterns for one of the characters' wings and I've put them together to make these little stencils. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that, put it onto some cardboard, and then lay it over each gun. So that's the size for my Recon. And then I've got the size for my bow, because I got myself a Revolutions bow, which is new. And then that is the size for my Huntsman, which is another lovely sniper rifle I own. So those are my main guns, those are my main plans. And then we've got my colour scheme, so I've got a red, a blue, silver, and a black. And then I've got my sealant. You need to seal your Nerf guns. This says model varnish, so model varnish is probably what I should be saying. You need to varnish your Nerf guns, because the problem is you're going to be handling them. If you don't varnish them, if you don't put an extra layer on top of your paint's going to come off on your hands when you're trying to use them. And the places like the cocking mechanisms are going to get rubbed and it's going to come off. Now you've got a basic idea of what I'm doing, I'll show you the rest of my Nerf guns. So, as I said, I do have some Rebel stuff, and this is my Revolutions bow. So as you can see, it's quite a big one. It's decent size, and it has this mechanism on it. So this mechanism is for your arrows, and it basically just dispenses them into this section here for you then to fire. I have found that this one actually catches my arm, which makes me feel a bit more like a proper bow woman, because that's what bows do. They catch your arm as you fire them. I apologise for that. Okay, and the next one I've got, these are both having the wing designs on. Next one is the Rebel crossbow. So this is a lot smaller, and my only other thing with this is the holy handle. So my friend and I am going to fill that up and make it solid, because I find that incredibly uncomfortable to wield. Last one from the Rebel line. I actually do have two crossbows, by the way. There's the other one. The last one from the Rebel line I have is another one where I've got two of it, and it is the Dauntless from the Charms. I can't remember it exactly, but the one where you get a charm bracelet with it. So I've got the charm bracelets as well, one of them. And that I'm keeping the pattern it's got already, and my friend has said he can copy this and this onto the other side for me. So this will be gone, and I will have the lovely patterns, so I can dual wield my Dauntlesses looking badass. So yes. And then my last one is the Huntsman. Now this is an off-brand blaster. It is not Nerf, but it's gorgeous as anything. It's not got the best accuracy, but it's got a really good oomph to it. You can really feel it and you can really hear it. So this I originally got because I wanted the scope, literally. Just for the scope, that's why I got it. And it's one big ass gun. It's not that far off the size of a long shot, and it's got the same sort of aesthetic look to it. So this is the scope I wanted. It works really well with my recon, because my recon's supposed to be my sniper. And this comes apart into 3 pieces. So we've got barrel extension, which comes off, and then the stock comes off to leave us with a nice, it makes me personally think of what's the character's name? Tomb Raider. Makes me think of Tomb Raider, the lady from Tomb Raider. But that's just me, a lot of people don't agree with me there. And for the most part, except for the Dauntlesses, I'm going to have my wings, the wing patterns on them. And I've sized them up for all the different guns. So I'll keep you up to date with going through those and showing you how each one goes. And hopefully next time I show you my Nerf guns, I will be able to show you some of the process as well. Because I did this before I started doing YouTube, I don't have any footage of me sanding. I'll try and get footage of me sanding the other ones, and I'll try and make sure I get footage of the spraying and the painting. Hopefully you enjoy this, and thanks for watching.